On this episode of the Black Boss Ladies platform.
To be honest, sometimes you're not motivated. I am not going to sit here and say it.
I love it though. It's true.
Sometimes
that's what I want our audience to know, because people think you wake up every day motivated. You do not wake up every day
motivated. No. Sometimes you want to give up. I've been there. Sometimes you're asking why. Should I be doing this? You question yourself sometimes. And then that one song or that one quote somebody say, or you're engaged in a conversation and something they said just hit real good, then that's the stuff that starts to motivate you.
You said, I looked at what I already had. Mm-hmm. Most of us, when we start out something, all we can focus on is what we don't have. And when you put your focus where attention goes, energy flows, if you wake up every day focusing on what I do not have to make my dream come to pass, you will miss all the things that you actually do have to make it happen.
I started updating my website, Think Black Us. And I was like, oh, look at what you've been doing, girl.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like, but you get so caught up in the doing. That you don't realize the stuff that's getting done.
Absolutely.
Like you are accomplishing things on several different levels. And if you don't pat yourself on the back, ain't nobody else gonna do it. And you gotta celebrate those things to be able to pull off the other stuff.
Welcome to the Black Boss Ladies platform, the place where legacies live.
Welcome to the Black Boss Ladies platform. I'm your host, Tiffany Lee.
And I'm Julia Myers.
And today, I'm excited to bring you Miss Kiera Lewis.
Hey.
All right.
Thank you, ladies, for having me.
Thank you. She is actually my mentor through SCORE. If you don't know about SCORE Mentor, please look it up. She has been instrumental in helping me on several different projects that I've been working on with my company. She is a serial entrepreneur. She is the owner of Etc. Events Planning and Marketing, LLC. I'm a member of her group, We Rise by Design for Women Entrepreneurs. Please look them up. Yes. On Facebook. What's the Facebook?
It's We Rise by Design. You can also go to my website, imkdl.com/We Rise.
All right. KDL Productions, LLC, and 618 Business and Event Center. Yes. So she is definitely a serial entrepreneur firing on so many levels.
Yes. I love the quote that you gave her. She said, I am one woman with many services.
Yes.
I love that. And the idea of that you go into all these spaces, why it sounds like you're here, they all have the art feel behind it, and you lead with the service mentality.
Yes.
Which I think is amazing. So how did you get here?
It was my mom and my dad hiding under my grandparents' Cadillac. I'm just like
you talk about got here, right?
But that's a true story.
We want to go a little bit further towards the Cadillac incident.
You know what? I have always been just business minded. Mm-hmm. Even in high school, I was the president of the Business Profession of America's chapter in our high school.
Okay.
Went on to do different things to try to figure out who I am and what it is that I want to do. Even in high school, I was just like, okay, I'm going to do hair. And I did hair on the side. People came to me to get their hair done. I'm going to arch eyebrows. People will sneak in my class to come get their eyes arched. I'm going to be a teacher. I always had these different thoughts. And then it just boiled down back to creativity, because I was always the one planning everybody's parties. I've been doing this since age 16. I'm 41 now. Y'all do the math. I've always been the one to want to host events and things like that. So when we do the things that we do in life, trying this, trying that, trying to figure it out, we always go back to our passion. Yeah. The passion never leaves.
Yes.
And so when I got wiser and when I got more mature to set out somewhere, then I was able to truly allow my passions to manifest from out of me.
I love that, because I study a lot. And one of the things, as you said, you're doing this, you're doing that, you're doing this. one of the things I discovered on my journey and hearing other people's journey is that seed is always there.
It's always there,
right?
Mm-hmm.
So just like an apple seed has the potential to be an apple, inside them, your potential is already there. But
Absolutely.
you had to sit down and listen
Absolutely.
and be quiet and go back.
I mean, that's how God speaks to us, right? We have to be still for him to say what he needs to say to us, or else everything is just distraction. And you can't hear it. So when we're putting our hands in, I call 50-11 things, we're not able to truly hear our passion calling out to us. I've always been in music. I've been singing since 5 years old. Younger than that, I get family members call me all the time. You remember when you were 3, you were singing this song? Middle school, in high school, I was that choir girl. I mean, going
and
to...
she can sing.
Thank you.
Or two later.
Oh my gosh. You gotta stay ready. You gotta stay ready. But so it always went back to music and creativity and events is what it always went back to once I was able to just be still, like you said.
Well, let me ask you something. With you being in, so many areas and everything like that, what is your definition of success?
Definition of success to me is being intentional. You have to be so intentional in every aspect of your life in order to be successful. Mm-hmm. Intentional about your relationships, intentional about self, intentional about who you are and tapping into who you are intentionally. Some people like to run away from who they are once they recognize it. Like, I'm scared of that and I don't want to face it. Mm-hmm. So I think that is one of the main ingredients to being successful is being intentional.
I love it. You didn't wake up here though. So your family say we've heard you, we see you on things when you were 3. You're doing these things in high school. When did you know that singing, because I want to get into that part of your career first, the singing and the playwriting, because that's a really big foundation of who you are. When did you say, I'm going to give this singing and playwriting a chance to grow?
When it just kept coming out of me. Mm-hmm. It kept coming out of me. And when things keep pouring out of you, what do you do with it? So again, I've been singing since a little girl, going to choir competitions since being in school, writing songs even after that. Songs come and plays. They come to me in my dreams. And I am not a morning person, y'all. Okay. Don't be expecting me to help you 5, 6 in the morning. Okay. But I will if I love you that much. But it will be times when God will just keep planting this song or this script in my head. And I'm like, I just want to sleep. And he's like, no, get this up out your mind right now. And there will be times that I will literally have a flashlight under the covers writing on the paper. And my husband will roll over and look at me. You writing? I'm writing. Okay. And he rolled back over. It's in you and you got to get it out. I wrote my first play when I was 9 years old. I was 9 years old. And I remember having my sister and my cousin. This is the privileges of being the oldest, y'all. Take it to your advantage, okay? I would make them act out the characters for the family.
Oh, wow.
Or in whatever song I wrote, because I wrote my first song in elementary. I would make them be my background singers, and we would be in the kitchen. And I'm like, okay, 1, 2, 3, sing, So it's just in you. It's in you. And when you allow it to come on out, then you just embrace that thing.
It got to be hard, though. So especially when we're talking about the arts. And a lot of times we've been forced to believe that there is not a career in that space. You can't. When you were talking, I just go back to the Whoopi Goldberg Sister Act with Lauryn Hill, and she really wants to sing, and she's writing, and she's, but she's hiding from her mother because there's no future in that. And every time we kind of see these movies or people stepping into, or autobiographies stepping into that, it's always a struggle, though, because it's easier to say, I want to be a doctor. I want to be a lawyer. Right. I want to build buildings, right? It's different when I want to do singing and playwriting. So while we have to step into that and allow it to pour through us, tell us that journey about, did you struggle with accepting that? Did you ever feel that you couldn't do that?
My struggle came when life got to life. in other areas. It had nothing to do with my craft. Like, I'm very transparent. Myself and my husband, we've gone through some rough patches in our marriage. This ain't nobody but God, okay? That we about to see 23 years of marriage. But there have been some rough times. And so when you go through some very rough times like that, everything else gets put on the back burner.
I agree.
And I remember when I was recording my first album, I started, and then 7 years later, I'm still not finished with it because other things got into the forefront. And so there's that intentionality that I was talking about earlier. You have to be intentional to say, you know what, this over here is not going to hold me down from taking care of this over here. We have to be so intentional about that. Now, the flip side of it is that if you are 50 years old, still talking about I want to be a rapper,
that's me.
And this rapper thing ain't said you know where.
Right. That's what I'm saying. But seriously, when do you play with that though? Because you gotta eat.
Yeah.
You say it never kept you from your craft, but other things was life but it didn't feed you either if you're not doing it. Right?
It did not feed me in that moment, but I had some people, and I'm a parking lot, this thing I'm about to say, but to go back to this, I had people who held me accountable. Your circle is so important. Yeah. Like, I have to have people in my circle that's going to cause me to grow. If you all about gossip and mess, I'm sorry. You just a person I'm going to say hi and bye to in the grocery store. I need people that's going to hold me accountable. And with my music on that first album, my sound engineer, Rick Turcott, shout out to him, Flatlander Sound Studio. He called me one day and said, hey, I got a whole bunch of good stuff sitting on my desk. What we doing with it? He was the person that got me to get back in the studio and finish this album. So you got to have those type of people. Now, going back to if you've been at it for years and it's just not manifesting, then that's that intentionality where you have to say, okay, I need to shift. Yeah. I need to pivot. So you yourself may not be positioned to be the rap star, but maybe you can start training people.
And not only that, I think sometimes when people are struggling, they have to look in the mirror and be honest. Have I put resources into becoming this person that I say I want to be? Have I really sat down? Because I coach agents too. And I see the agents that come with all this light, all this life, and saying what they want to do, but they never show up to meetings. They have not taken a course.
We want stuff to fall out.
Right. So some of it, while you're probably 50 and where you are, it's not because you weren't supposed to be that person. You didn't cultivate the seed.
Absolutely.
Like the seed is there, but you still got to cultivate it. And
it's just like a plant. You got to water that plant. And that's who we are. We're plants that we have to water. We have to do our part. So.
Well, I think that in some ways, what Julia was talking about in reference to the going into the arts, I think as Black people, we have that issue, right? And it like she said, you know, if you want to be a doctor, a lawyer, your family will be like, oh,
I'm behind you.
Doctor, right? I got me a lawyer coming through here.
Yeah.
Or even an NBA star. I got me a, you know, but if you say, I want to be a singer, I want to write plays, your family will be like, where you going to eat? Money coming from?
Yeah. Exactly.
Because, but that is something that we deal with. I don't think that Black people do it intentionally. They just don't want you to suffer.
They want you
right? And we can't take care of you like white families can.
And
where you can go
and tell you, I ain't taking care of you now.
Exactly.
Someone will tell you that. I think that's a part of the generational curses that we're under too, because the generations before us, all they knew how to do was survive.
However, that's what you're in survival mode,
and that's what it is.
And sometimes when you're in survival mode, you don't have a space to dream.
Right.
Like dreaming becomes a privilege,
right? So true.
Like even some of the things I realized in my older age, I was at a barbecue recently. And I met a young lady, and she went to an HBCU at first, and she was telling me about how the tuition had got expensive, and her mom had 2 kids in college. Wow, she was able to pay for it at first, but now you got to go to in-state. I'm still going to pay for your tuition, right? But you got to go somewhere that's a little bit cheaper. So it's not that she wasn't going to pay for the tuition. She just needed to be a little bit more affordable. fast forward, she ends up at the same school that I went to. And she's telling me her experience at Carbondale. And she traveled abroad and she ends up becoming the president. And she did all these things. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, wow, while I went to the same school, she had the privilege to expand and be because she wasn't in survival. Right? So I'm at school and I'm there and all I can think about is I got to get out because I can't even afford to really be here, right? So it's two different experiences. And it wasn't until I even got a little bit older with a husband that's like, well, you can go play in this area. You can go play in that area. We're not going to starve, So some of us don't have the privilege of dreaming because we're in survival mode.
And I thank you, God. I have that, again, circle that pushes me and roots me on. Like my daddy, oh Lord, that's one of my biggest fans. Look at my baby, y'all. My baby can sing. Look at my baby, doing her thing. Like I still have a daddy that's doing that. But you're right, some people, they don't have that circle. That's why multiple streams of income is so important, especially in the entrepreneur realm. We can't just depend on, unless you a multi-billion-dollar company and you've just been blessed that way, multiple streams of income is necessary.
Yeah.
When it comes to entrepreneurship.
So you're in your 20s and you are, you say 7 years to take you to do this, your first album, right? Your first album. What are you doing on the side to supplement? Because you are married, right? Do you have children?
I have one son who is serving the Marine Corps as we speak. Shout out to my baby and all the men and women serving our country.
Thank you.
But in my 20s, I was stationed in California with my husband.
Okay, so he's in the military.
He's in the Air Force at this time. Okay. We have a young baby. We are not around family. And I'm working, depending on what in the 20s, I'm working on base somewhere. Okay. So I am working. I've always been a worker. I've been working since age 14. Yep. I took off 1 year when our son was born so that I wouldn't miss anything. I was like, I don't want to miss any of these milestones. Right. But after that 1 year, I'm like, I got to go work. That's just not in me not to work. Okay. So I've always been a worker. But God aligns you where he needs to align you. And I mean, he placed producers and beat makers in my path on the base. And so I just had blessings. I was in a great place. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So 7 years, you know this is in you. Your gift is not something that's questionable, right? But life is life. What keeps you going doing this 7 years of working on a project? Because this is not instant gratification. Right. So what's keeping you motivated to even show up and do this?
To be honest, sometimes you're not motivated. I am not going to sit here and say it.
I love it though. It's true.
Sometimes
that's what I want our audience to know, because people think you wake up every day motivated. You do not wake up every day motivated.
No. Sometimes you want to give up. I've been there. Sometimes you're asking why. Should I be doing this? You question yourself sometimes. And then that one song or that one quote somebody say, or you're engaged in a conversation and something they said just hit real good. Yeah. Then that's the stuff that starts to motivate you.
Yeah. Oh, I just got chills. God wins, because I'm telling you.
It's so true, because it's like sometimes I will feel like, oh Lord, I got to do this today. Yeah. And then I have said that I was going to start putting, first of all, some quotes in a little jar. And then also my wins, because you forget about your wins.
And the little ones, celebrate them just as big.
Because it's like, I started updating my website, Think Black Us. And I was like, oh, look at what you've been doing, girl. Yes. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, but you get so caught up in the doing. That you don't realize the stuff that's getting done. Absolutely. Like you are accomplishing things on several different levels. And if you don't pat yourself on the back, ain't nobody else going to do it. And you got to celebrate those things to be able to pull off the other stuff that needs.
Absolutely. I agree with it. That's why I would give myself goals. And then I will give it like, when you get this goal, you get to buy this, or you get to do this, so you can celebrate you. Because you can't look for other people to celebrate you. And it's okay, everybody on their own journeys, trying to figure out their own thing.
Yeah.
So the satisfaction has to come from you pursuing the goal. And then celebrate yourself.
And this is what I learned about people, and I learned this through my marriage. Sometimes we expect things from people that they are not capable of giving us.
Right.
We look first to our family and friends for support, especially in the entrepreneurship realm, as we feel that we should, because we're like, y'all my peoples. But the support we're looking for in them, they can't give it because they don't know how to give it.
Not even that. I think they don't know how to give it, I would say. And they're not your target audience.
They definitely not your target audience.
Right.
They
So when I
definitely are
grew
not.
as an entrepreneur, I was like, yo, what I'm selling, they're not my audience.
Yeah.
So if I know my audience very well and I get to know them, I don't have to lean on my circle because my audience is already there.
Absolutely.
But I have to stop looking at the people that I think are my audience and they're not. So let those people off the hook, y'all.
Yeah,
Right.
let them off the hook.
Don't let them out too easy.
Nah, because I done seen some people close some deals and I was like, well, I sell houses. Okay.
No, I mean, I think that we also have to hold people accountable.
Absolutely.
And what I mean by that is that, for the families out there, you may not be the target audience, but the expectation is that you will provide that support.
Agree.
Right.
She has supported every single thing I have
right.
done.
I support people across the board. It's whether I want this, I may not ever wear it.
Yeah, you done bought lingerie,
But I wore but you support. And so because that helps, that can keep that person going, right? So we need that support. Buy that thing that you may not ever read, never wear, or so forth, to support, because half of the time we are the same people that supporting you in some stuff that we don't want to do either.
And let me tell you what y'all could do with the gifts that you buy that you may not use. You give them as gifts.
Yeah.
Let me tell you some other ways you can support. Sharing the posts that we post out there. It takes you free 99.
Yep.
Just to go quick share or talk. We're always talking and yapping.
Yep.
No matter who it is in the grocery store. So people will tell you their business without you even asking. So if they're talking about some stuff that we could benefit from, hey, I have a such and such that has such and such. Let me get you their number. That's a way of supporting.
I will say I have to big myself on the back for that, because I'm going to always up and talk about the things people around me doing, to the point a friend now got a scholarship, some money for their business for $250,000. Just because I hear something,
Listen,
I'm putting it together. I'm serious. Like, and if God be like, and I'm not going to get anything from these things, but I know what it feels like to be working towards a dream. And if I hear something, because this is sad, but you have some people that wouldn't mention your name in a room, even though that your name needs to be in their room.
Yeah, that's a whole nother subject.
You have people that will praise you from here to there that you didn't even know was praising.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, your blessings always come back.
Absolutely.
So you finished the album.
I did. Now we're working on the second one. Working on the second one.
Let's talk about, so we talked about the album. When do you do your first stage play? After the family.
After the family. I think my first ever stage play in front of an actual audience was for my church. I wrote a lot for my church.
Okay.
And then after seeing, I am giving them all of my talents. I could be doing my own thing. So again, being intentional, you have to be intentional about evaluating. Like, you really have to be intentional about just stepping back sometimes. It's called reflection to some. And just look over your life and look over, what you have going on, and then and those some light bulbs will pop on.
They will.
And I mean, every year I was writing plays for my church, and we have this big one that we used to do every year around Halloween time, called Judgment House, if you ever heard of it. And I would take off vacation from work.
Oh, wow.
I would take vacation from work to help prepare for it because it was so big. And I said, you know what?
I think I see. Is this a play that people do often? Or is this
Different
yours?
churches do it, but
I've been to a play.
you can either purchase a script from the actual Judgment House platform, or you can write your own, and we have written our own many a times. So when you tired of doing stuff for everybody, not for yourself, you make some moves. So
you see your gift was there. You was giving it to the church for free. Yeah. Take it not free, you was paying. Because when you take vacation time, that's time that you could have been those hours paid.
Yes. But that's where that service in me comes in at, because one thing that I recognize and realize is that the gifts and talents that we were all given is not for us.
It's not.
It is not for us. It is for us to go out there into the world and spread it and bless people. The scripts that I write, the songs that I write, they may be words that somebody been feeling but couldn't figure out how to say it.
Yeah. Language is very powerful.
Very much so. You know, the real estate that you're in, you got people that just, they don't see it. But then you take them in and say, oh, yeah, you know, you can put this right here and that. Oh, I see it. So we were given all of these things. Black history, what we learned in the schools, no. This woman is teaching us.
Right.
Okay? So it's just like, it's not for us. You are educating us where we have been miseducated.
Yes.
So
we've been really miseducated.
Absolutely.
So when you realize that, you know, I got this gift, I've been giving it away, which you've been planting seed and cultivating and getting back. I call this feedback. This is feedback because now you've been able to do it, you know, kind of sort of on other people's dime too, in terms of facilities and stuff like that, right? Because sometimes we may not be paid monetary, but we're able to use their space, their cameraman, and things like that. So when do you say I'm going to write my own play and go? When does that happen?
So in my 20s, I wrote a script called If Loving You Is Wrong. Okay. This was way before Tyler Perry. I want to put this out there, okay? Because they were like,
Tyler wasn't the only one writing plays,
right.
y'all.
It was way before him, because he has a show called If Loving You Is Wrong or something like that, I believe. But I had wrote this a long time ago, and it was just sitting. And so after going through, you know, all the productions that I've gone through with the church, which became experience for me.
Yeah. And that's what I wanted to interject when Julia was talking, because I remember when I first met you and you were like, okay, Miss Tiffany, you're doing all of this stuff, but it's volunteer. Now you got to start doing this stuff for yourself. And it was hard to move from that because I got a lot of experience working, volunteering for other organizations. Yeah. And I always tell my husband, because he's like, you need to stop all this volunteering, which I have pulled back thanks to you, right, and him.
Gotta be some balance.
I say, you know, like I wrote a play for House of Miles, East St. Louis. I never played before, you know what I'm saying? Working for communications as a communication show with NAACP, like those things, they teach you the skills that you need, leadership skills, creative skills, like all of those things. And then sometimes you prepare for your first play.
That's it. Yeah. And that's what happened.
Take us through that journey.
So one day I was just going through booklets and I was like, Kira, what are you doing? Why is this still here?
I love the conversation you have.
All the time.
I be talking to myself like this.
I do too.
And I be answering too.
Yeah. You be like, tell myself saying, like Brown saying.
And then it was like, what you said?
And that's like, exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened.
I'm telling you, y'all gotta have those conversations. I'm telling you, they the best.
But who better to check you?
That's why I said they the best conversations. Y'all, this is one of my favorite T.I. songs is literally when he rapping to himself. Like, what are you doing here, T.I.? What is this? No, we had to be this. We got to be that. We got to be this. Like, he literally, like, checking himself. But, yeah.
Who better? Because, you know, anybody else check us, we ready to pop off. Absolutely.
And then some of them don't think it's right because they still trying to salvage the relationship, which is good.
No way. So that's what happened. I came across that script, and after I had all these scripts under my belt with the church, now why are you not doing this for yourself? So let's get this cracking.
Let's get it cracking. How did it crack?
It started off with me seeking sponsors. Okay. Because now, through all of this that I've done for the church, people see my capabilities. So now I'm like, okay, I got a bit of a pull. I got a bit of a
you got a
fan.
portfolio, like people
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, because I mean, even for the church plays, I have heard people say, girl, I invited my friend to come see this play. I knew you was writing it. Okay, I got a little
You got a little fan base going.
You gotta do your eyes like that too. Okay. So when
I'm serious, I used to write when I used to do my free courses and stuff. I got a little fan base. I'm
okay, let's try this. The first thing is that you can't go in it with fear. Because fear will put you in that bondage that, no, because you ain't got no money. And ain't nobody gonna come see it. So you have to intentionally recognize who you are, whose you is, where you are in that realm of that creativity, and go for it. So when I recognize, okay, you got a little fan base, and then I recognize that I have people who will always care. You need me to act? Like I get that a lot. And I'm like, okay, I got people who want to help. So when I started making that list of what I already had, I said, okay, now darling, you gonna give me the rest of it? Because I'm not getting this part done. So you're gonna get the rest of it. And honey, sponsorships came in. I said, okay, people doing this vendor thing. So now you gotta look at what's the trends.
I can't skip past that because you said I looked at what I already had. Most of us, when we start out something, all we can focus on is what we don't have. And when you put your focus where attention goes, energy flows. If you wake up every day focusing on what I do not have to make my dream come to pass, you will miss all the things that you actually do have to make it happen.
And let me tell you about the stuff that you do have. What you do have can lead you to what you don't have. So these connections of people may say, oh, I know such and such that could help with that part of it. And that is what happened.
I thinking about the Bible story when, and you probably could help me because I love the Bible, but I'll be messing it up a little bit. But when God went to him, it's like, how many, you got some pots up in there? Go get them 3 pots with the lady with the oil and stuff. She already had some in the house, right? She just had to go take what she had in the house, go out to the people, get some, and then not like all the oil was flowing.
Right.
You know,
yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
But she had some in the house already.
But we forget what we have. We forget what we have. Like you said, don't focus on what you don't have because the abundance is going to come. Because that's what that story is talking about.
It is the abundance. And then she had an overflow from what was already there.
Absolutely.
How do you, I guess the question is, because ever since we started this show, I always talk about, I've been there. I'd be fearful. I'd be stressed. I'd be everything. How do you, for our listeners out there, how do you get past that point, right? How do you get to that point of knowing that abundance will flow?
For me, I don't know about you. It's literally moment by moment. Because in one moment for an hour, I could be like freaking out. Like, oh my God, I don't got no clients this month. And then next thing you know, I got 9. But then I'm freaking out because like, I got to get this. Like, it's literally for me, talk like today, reminding this, reminding. If you can't get, you got to go step by step. It's literally a mental conversation. What do you think?
I have always been taught what's for me is for me. And whoever's supposed to support is going to support. So that is what I lean on heavily, no matter if it's a concert, if it's a play, if it's people supporting the venue. You know, I'm just like, my clientele, emphasis on my, is going to come to me. As long as I do my part, they're going to come to me. But you first also have to believe in yourself.
I would say that's a level of faith, though.
Yeah, if you do not believe in yourself, then nothing that we're saying is going to really matter because you in the bondage right now of disbelief and fear.
That life is responding to that. So that's kind of the catch thing. Like the fear is there. And I Myron Golden is somebody I listen to a lot. And he talks about, wow, fear is real. What you're really experiencing is anxiety because you allow these, and it feels just like fear, but you have allowed so many negative thoughts and ideas and feelings to take shape, and it feels like fear, but it's just anxiety.
Yeah.
And the more you shift past those thoughts and replace them on top, then you start feeling expectation
Absolutely.
and excitement for the thing. So while they're like the two sides of the same coin, you just have to look at one side over the other one. And when I say sometimes that's moment by moment, that's moment of me looking at the heads instead of the tails. And as soon as it show up, I'm going back to the heads and the,
Right.
So I know it's fear. Fear is a real energy. It's a real feeling, and it can save our lives, and we need it. But what most of us aren't, we're not feeling fear. We're actually just feeling so much anxiety because we focus on it not happening.
Yeah. And what I hear from that is protect your peace. And what I mean by that is be careful of what you allow to pour into you.
Agreed.
I talk about that all the time with both my husband and my son, because they'll look at the news.
Oh, yeah.
In the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening, and then anxiety is just there.
It's
Because
creating.
you poured all of this negativity in you.
And it was all fear-based anyway, because they know if not that, like, culture knows fear and those things sell more because more people are operating in that space. So they're selling that fear. So again, it's up to you to cut it all out. Like, I remember when I graduated from undergrad, this was before social media and all those things were big, because I remember I didn't get on social media until like 2011. So like I cut off the TV because I was like, I can't. Every message that came to me was that who I was as a Black young woman wasn't good enough. And I gotta stop listening to all this. Like, it was so much, I cut it off. It will. So we have to be very mindful. And while at that time it was just TV, because I don't have all these things on my phone. Right now, our culture, I've come across so many people that are full of anxiety because they are allowing it come through the ears and the eyes, and they have not set that space up to pour the good into them. So only that fear.
Absolutely. And I'll take it back to what I said earlier, your circle. Make sure that you are surrounded by people who are going to cause you to grow.
Yeah.
I can't say that enough.
Yeah.
Can I?
So you, how did your play go?
Last year's play was over 300 attended.
What?
Yeah. Excited.
What, your
about
first
that.
play though?
The first play, we had over 100 in attendance.
So let's talk about that, because I think Tyler Perry said 12 tickets was sold to his, right?
For his first one?
I think it was like 12. It wasn't that many. So your first play had 100 tickets sold.
Listen, come on, guys. I didn't even know that.
I think it was like 12. Yeah, I watched this.
We had over 100 in attendance for the first one. And I said, I think one of you said about setting goals. I said, the second one, we're going to double that.
Okay.
That's what I spoke it into the atmosphere. You got to speak it. You have to speak what you want. And I said, we're going to double it for the second one. And we more than doubled it. Like, I had something around. And I even told the crowd, because that was the same day. Going back to that fear and that anxiety, the day we performed part 2 was the day Kirk Franklin and all of them and the family were doing that big reunion.
Yeah, so y'all sharing the same audience.
Yes. And I said, at first I said, oh Lord, he about to take my people. Right.
Where are these plays happening, by the way? The first play, where was
the first one was at the Hatton Hawson Theater at McKendree.
Also in Illinois.
In Illinois. And what I do is I flip-flop the river to meet my fan base. That's that service in me.
Okay.
So the first one we did Illinois. The second one was Missouri. And that was at UMSL at the Two Hill Theater. So this year, again, we're back on the Illinois side. And going back to talking about shifting and pivoting, because that comes with the entrepreneur territory, things don't always go as planned.
Never.
But you have to shift and you have to pivot, and you can't let that anxiety take over you to where you can't get stuff accomplished. So on the Illinois side, we really do not have many theaters to choose from like you guys do here on the Missouri side. And every theater that I called, which is a handful, were not available, long story short. And so I said, well, I guess I'm gonna be looking for some Missouri theaters, but I really wanted to be on the Illinois side. And one day God spoke to me and said, Kiara, you are a creative. Create.
Mm.
And I said, what you saying, God? And he was like, be creative.
What did you do?
So I got a community hall. And I got my team of people that we actually just did a walkthrough earlier this week. We're going to build our stage and we're going to do it dinner theater style. I said, I ain't never did dinner theater. Like,
oh
that's nice.
I said,
So yeah, that's a good. So they're gonna get dinner and theater.
Yes.
Wow. When does this play?
April 12th and 13th of 2025. This is the first time we're doing a 2-night showing. Because the affordability was there at the venue. So I'm just like,
create.
money.
I love it.
Yes, we are so excited about this. And then this script is going to transition. So this is the last of the Loving Yous. And then we're taking parts 1, 2, and 3 on tour June 2026.
Y'all hear that?
Together.
You coming to Chicago?
So we're going to Indiana. Close enough.
Close.
So
You're
y'all
right there.
come on.
What part of Indiana?
Indianapolis.
Okay. Indianapolis. Okay,
Yeah.
got you.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're doing Indiana, St. Louis, and Kansas City.
So I just want to recap, y'all, to go make this story come full circle. You're doing a place for the church. You look up and you say, I can start getting my wealth, because that's what I call it, wealth, right? So you were giving the wealth away and now you get to receive the wealth, but the wealth was still there in experience and getting your name out there. You do your first play and you got 100 and some people on there, right? And then you you double it and some more.
Yes.
And now you're doing them on both sides of the river, right? That's where if you're down to Illinois, you got Illinois and then you got Missouri.
Right.
And now we're about to do 2 nights and then you're going on tour.
We are going on tour.
And this is making money in the arts with your gift that God gave you, the seed that was there.
Yes. Like Missy said, copywritten, so don't copy. Okay.
And I'm just thinking about all the people, because what we have to realize is when we, like you said, your gift is for other people. You're giving actors and actresses jobs. You're giving caterers jobs. You're telling singers.
We do live bands.
Like
dancers.
The amount of people that will eat from you saying yes to your seed it's beautiful when you just really bring it full circle. So that's the acting part. I'm excited. We're gonna make sure all the links for all the plays are there. My husband will get to one of those plays, whether it's here or Indianapolis. Let's talk about the event space, because this only one side of who you are in your entrepreneurship. We had a very small conversation before the cameras started rolling, and you say now you're doing a workspace and event space. How did you get there?
So I was in the banking world for 10 years.
Okay.
I was running my event planning business and doing my music and the We Rise by Design part-time while working corporate. Sometimes that's what you have to do to get to where you want to go. I just want to point that out.
Agreed.
And then I would find myself getting to work early every morning and sit in my car, pray, have devotion, and I would end my moment with him saying, God, I'm ready to do me. So however that looks, prepare me. But I kept working. So you got to keep doing your part. I just want to
eat.
It's not going to fall in your lap. Don't let these TikTok and Instagram people get y'all in the hype. You have to do your part. So I kept working and doing what I needed to do. And a family friend that also went to church with us, that also lives right across the street from us, she came to my house one day while I was fixing some centerpieces for an event. And she said, I want to open an event space, but I don't want to have nothing to do with it.
Do it.
I don't want to have nothing to do with it. I want you to be the person.
Oh, she said she wants you to be the person.
Yeah.
Okay.
Say, I'll be in the background.
And this is the thing. It's a lot of people out there like that. I know sometimes when we get in our survival mode and we're in our spaces, we don't think that there are people, from me working in real estate, that have money. Go find me the plot. Go give me. I don't want to do none of that. I got the money. Like there are. And
that's what she was.
Exists. Okay.
Yeah. Bless you, Kim. But she that was the beginning. I said, well, when you want me. So we, long story short, found the space. And instead of doing just an event space, which is what our initial thing was, because again, on the St. Louis side, you guys have event spaces everywhere.
Mhm.
On the Illinois side, we didn't really have many elegant events
Mhm.
available. So that was our initial intent. After looking at building after building, we wind up coming across a space that allowed for shared workspace as well as event space.
Yeah, so you're making multiple incomes under one
Multiple
roof.
streams of income. It's
Mhm.
necessary.
Mhm.
So and we did that for 5 years.
Oh.
And one day she said, all right, I'm done. I don't want to do this no more. Because she's retired twice. Let me put that out there. When she came to me, she was retired once from the Air Force
Mhm.
and was getting ready to retire again from the NCUA. So this was play money for her.
Mhm. This on the side.
And she'll tell you, I'm not a people person. This is why I'm trying to be in the back. But there were times when I had to pull her on up in the front. Like, okay, we getting big and I need some help. But she got enough of the people, and she said, "I'm ready to close these doors unless you want to have it." I was going to take over that particular one, but instead rebranded my own thing and brought on 2 business partners. That's the other thing. Recognize where you are in life financially. If you cannot, though you feel that this is it, that I should do it, there's no need for you to go broke and your home is not eating. So come with a strategy. And my strategy, bring on some partners that want to take a piece of this pie as well.
Mhm.
And here we are. So we're looking to be done renovating at the end of this month.
Nice. So you'll be able to have, what kind of events would you say this spot would have?
Any event that you want to have, birthdays, weddings, we have that set up, anniversaries, only for ages 12 plus, because we recognize who our audience is. We don't do the children's party.
Yeah, gotcha.
I know.
So, wow, music, writing, leadership, and I want to get to how you and my aunt met.
Yes, I just love this
because that's your work too.
And that's actually volunteer.
I was just okay.
Yeah.
Purpose work. I listened to the Wall Street Trapper. He's amazing, but he said he does purpose work, right?
Mhm.
So that's his work straight from the heart to God's people. No, he doesn't charge anybody.
Right.
So SCORE would be and tell us about that community.
So I was a client of SCORE, like Miss Tiffany is, and the person they assigned to me, he didn't do it for me. He was rude. He came off aggressive. His expertise wasn't even in my industry. And I'm like, why would they match me with this man? And so as I started getting more and more into business, I found that I was at a space where I could go and help. And I knew that they needed more mentors. So I signed up. You got to go through an interview process and everything to make sure that you fit for it. When I got accepted and I went to my first event to meet other mentors, I was the only one of us.
Wow. Yeah.
And I was like, God, this was nobody but you that left me here, because sometimes we need to see us.
We do. Because
our struggle is very different,
It's
especially
very
in the entrepreneurship category.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They had one lady that looked like me that actually worked for them. But as far as mentors,
none. That's so interesting.
no. So when I started when they put me out there in the pool to start accepting clients, at one point I had over 50 clients.
Mentees?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yes. And the first thing they were like, when I saw your face. And I'm just like, I don't know if to take this as a compliment or if this is a dang on shame.
It is, because I can't imagine 50. I think the most agents I ever had on my mentor roster was 20. And that's a lot.
Yeah.
Imagine 50.
Yeah. Like I literally had to tell them, hey, yo, I can't take no more.
Yeah, that's when I was
like,
telling
I had to put the pumps on it. Like even now, I'm decreased down to, I want to say I'm probably in that 20 range now. And I told them, put me on pause, take me off the website until I tell you further. Because I'm just going back to being intentional. I recognize where I am right
Yep.
now, and I don't have that capacity.
You got it. Yeah. Because even if I take mentoring really big, because I always want to be the mentor that I needed.
Absolutely.
Right. But I also realize that while you're still working and building, it's only so much you can give to.
And this is the thing, you are other titles that need you.
Yes.
Like businesses can really break up some marriages. So you have to be very careful of it. I'm a wife, and now we are in our empty nesting stage, which is something we've never experienced. Like for 18 years, we had this little dude with us. So now he's gone. And he ain't just gone. He gone. Like he not coming home on the weekends with his laundry dirty.
Yeah.
You know, so me and my husband at each other like,
what we doing?
Right.
Yeah.
First thing I said was my son went to college. I said, "Oh, this means I'm not cooking anymore."
Look, that's crazy. I'm over here, y'all. I got a 2-year-old.
Look,
Yeah, wow.
several things. Hold on to that stage while you can, because I wish I could hold that little 2-year-old again, and then just love on each other and date each other now, so that when your baby does leave, it's not foreign to you. Yeah.
I love it.
Did your journey with SCORE influence you to start with the We Rise by Design for Women Entrepreneurs?
No, I actually had started that in 2015.
Okay, tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I told y'all I'm transparent, right? Okay, so I won't offend nobody, but I was sitting on the toilet one day.
The best.
It's the thing.
I think it's because we like not thinking about nothing.
It's the thing.
So like those thoughts get to come up because it's always the toilet or the shower for me. It's something happening in that bathroom.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And as I said, I was still working corporate, but I was running my businesses part-time. But I had recognized, like, man, I need some business friends.
Yeah, it's different. Yeah.
That's what I was thinking about in the bathroom. Like, I need some different people in this stage of life that I'm in that understands me as a business person. And then I was like, I wonder how many other people feel that way.
It's a lot. It's a lot because it's a different language. Yeah. And I always tell people it's not that one is better than the other because I speak both languages because I work in, I still got a day job, then I do business too. And can't even say I'm on the side because they about like growing at the same capacity at this point. But it is a different language because you're using a different part of you and your creativity.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that goes back to we can't go to our friends and families like that because they don't necessarily speak that language. And then the other thing I thought about is just women. I'm passionate about women, especially getting along. Because the women in my family growing up, they were always arguing and fighting. I'm like, are y'all not sisters? Or like, what is happening? And so you got this stigma that a group of women cannot get along. So we rise by design.
Okay. Yeah, nice. I like that though. Because it's not true. It's not. I think petty people.
Absolutely.
Whether women or men.
Now going back to generational curses. We were taught to be each other's competitors.
We were.
Plus size to skinny were taught to not like each other. Light skin to dark was not taught to. I mean, look at school days. It talks about all of that.
That's true.
So giving that little, like you said, somebody said, give them a little leniency, they were taught that. But at some point, we got to break out of that.
Agreed.
We got to break out of it.
I always think about the backlash of breaking out of it too, though. You become a unicorn and you sometimes become, and you have to be okay with it. I think I've become okay with it, but you also become an outlaw. Like you people don't start to understand you anymore. They're like, well, this is what we do. This is what we always done. You don't want to do it anymore. And it's because my life depends on me not doing that.
Yeah.
My goals depend on me not having those type of conversations. Or being in those type of spaces. And when you are sold on what God has put you here for, everything else becomes non-negotiable.
And how about all of that equals growth?
It does.
Okay. That all equals growth.
It does.
And if you're not growing with me, then our season is up. Like I can't go kick it all the time like we used to in our 20s. We in our 40s now. growth needed to happen somewhere.
It doesn't mean it's not easy though.
It's not.
It's not, because I be living it, and it'd be like, but these are people you love. These are people you love, right? These are not people you just wash away. But it becomes a space where you really do have to navigate it, and you have to be okay with it.
And that's why, as entrepreneurs, networking is so important. You
Agreed.
gotta go network on a regular, consistently, so that you can meet those people for that part of your life. And then Mookie and them,
Yeah, that's
we can, as we need to, we'll go kick it with you.
Right.
No,
It's very true.
Yeah.
Makes me think about who's the guy? It's this one motivational speaker. I used to listen to him all the time, and he was like, see, what you guys don't understand is you have to have your group of friends for everything.
You do.
Like,
I really do, though.
It's like I have my friends who we do business together. I have my friends who we walk together.
Yep.
And all we do is walk and talk about how we're gonna lose this weight.
And that's
all we do. And then it's just like,
you do. You start compartmentalizing.
Yeah.
And even I have my friends like, all we're talking about is mommy stuff. Like, because we all trying to get through this toddler stage,
Absolutely.
right? That's it. Then we got my group over here. All we're going to talk about is business and making deals. Like, this all it's going to be. Then you know how that group, we just going to talk about pop culture, whatever happens in the world right now. And you got to be, you know how to maneuver. Only time it becomes an issue if you expecting something from this group that you don't expect nothing. That's not what's
going back to what I
from.
said.
You got to know how to put this in different spaces.
Yeah.
So your journey has just been amazing. Hearing that you sold your first crowd with 100 people in it, like people were.
Girl,
I used to do events, and I know I was scared.
I didn't realize how dope that was until you told me Tyler Perry.
Like, we only had like 12 people. I'm gonna fact check that, but I know it wasn't that many people. And he had the whole weekend, and I think it was like he was like, "Yeah, I don't know what I was doing, but yeah, it was." And to the point where now we're going on tour and everything, and we probably don't. I'm just put this out there. We probably see us stuff on Netflix.
Listen, let me receive it. Let me receive it, because I do. I have a videographer that always records my my production, so because we do want it to shrink. Like my guy said, I got you.
Yep.
Dream big, so
Dream big. Yeah, we're gonna dream big.
Prepare for it. So yeah.
So if somebody is sitting there and they want to make the arts what they live and eat off of, like their everyday life, what would be 3 tips that you would give them to move them into that space to be able to do that?
I would say the number one thing is to make sure that your craft is worthy enough.
I like that.
Like, I do not believe in putting out junk.
Agreed.
I went to, and this is, my heart it was hurting, but I went and supported someone who also writes plays. And I brought family with me, and we're watching this play, and they're looking at me like, what did you bring us to?
Right.
And then I'm watching people one by one leave.
And that's horrible.
And never come back. Like, did they not go to the restroom? And before you knew it, it was almost empty in there. When I walked in, it was more people. And I was like, man, I don't want that to ever happen to me. So make sure that your craft is there.
Be good.
We have to keep perfecting our craft. I was out in Chicago 2 Septembers ago at a wedding conference. Because whatever you know, it's more to know. It's more to learn. So make sure that craft is worthy enough for you to put it out there like that.
Be dope. Be good.
And be dope in your dopeness. We all dope.
Right. But actually be good.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's the number one thing. The second thing is to have some ethics. Have some business ethics. Yes, this is your craft, but this is also a business that you're running. So make sure everything is on the up and up with how your operation is going. I'm at a stage now where I need a team. And that's that intentional thing, what I said earlier about being intentional about recognizing where you're at. And I'm like, man, this stuff is becoming too much for one person. I need a team.
Yep.
So get the necessary people that you need to help this operation to run smoothly and ethically. Oh my
I try to
goodness.
hire people to I ain't lying.
Julia will hire anybody for everything. Like, I need my shoes laced. Where's the person to get my shoes laced?
Can we hire somebody on too?
I ain't even got no money. God gonna provide. We gonna hire somebody because I can't do this.
Right.
Like,
So
but that
crap is worthless.
worthy. Hire help.
Hire help. And then the other thing is to always step out on faith. Do it scared.
Wow.
I said we going on tour in June 2026. I have never been on a tour. Okay? I have never been on tour, but we about to go on this tour.
You gonna figure it out.
And we're going to make it happen. So those are my 3 things there.
I think those are amazing. Those are amazing.
Well, Miss Kiara Lewis, you are truly a Black boss lady.
And your legacy will live on the Black Boss Ladies platform.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, ladies. Same to you.
Thank you for joining us on the BBL Platform Podcast, the place where legacies live. We hope you will join us on our next inspirational journey to success. Be sure to rate, like, and subscribe to our show. For more information, please visit our website at theBBLplatform.com.